We are back here on Girl Talk. Dr. Jason Snyder from Hilton Head Hospital has joined us, and it is
Breast Cancer
Awareness Month. And gosh, this time last year, Aunt Lori was going through her double mastectomy. So it's really something that we all need to be aware of. You've got 3 women here. You're a radiologist who specializes in breasts. We want to talk to you a little bit captive. We've got you. We can ask all the questions we ever wanted to know about.
Where's the door?
Yeah, exactly. Where's the door? Exactly. About breast screening, about mammographies, why they're so important. I mean, I hear all the time, you need one, you don't need one. Go for it.
Go for it. Thank y'all for having me. This is a wonderful opportunity for me to be able to talk to people about that. And I get that question quite frequently. You know, from the time of 1500 BC up to the 1970s, if a woman developed breast cancer, she kind of had the same prognosis and outlook, which was very bleak.
Is that true?
It's true. The first mammogram units hit the market in the mid-70s, and we were very fortunate that we had some physicians that did some groundbreaking, very stringent studies to look at mammography. And so we're the benefactor of those guys doing the right thing.
Oh my gosh.
And so they were able to, we started screening patients in the 70s, and in the 80s we started seeing an uptick in the cancer detection of breast cancer, and then the lives being lost slowly decreased. And so it was able to be proven that mammography does save lives in its early detection.
Okay, so are you an advocate of self-breast exam? How old should we be for our initial mammogram? And what is there, we're trying to get all the questions in as fast as possible. Sure. And at what age, if you have a history of breast cancer in your family, do you need to have a mammogram?
Great question. We'll take the last one first. The American Cancer Society, the ACR, and the Society of Breast Imaging all have similar guidelines.
Okay.
Beginning screening mammograms at age 40.
Okay.
Okay. We begin earlier if you have a family member that 10 years earlier if you have a family member before age 40. So if you have a sister or a mother that developed breast cancer at 46, we'll begin at 36.
Oh.
That's interesting.
At 41, we begin at 31. Okay.
Are there different kinds of breast cancers? Is it just sort of a one disease or variations of the disease?
Oh, it's a great question. And so there are variants of the norm. The most common garden variety begins in the duct of the breast, which is, if you can think of the duct, it's kind of like a tree. It arborizes through the breast and converges on the nipple. And those cancers arise in the duct. So we can often see those cancers on mammography because they have telltale signs. There are also some additional cancers that arise from the tissues that surround the ducts, the kind of the supportive tissues. And they all have a similar appearance on mammography. But what we do is we do a biopsy, and then we send that biopsy to the pathologist. They're able to look at it underneath the microscope and tell us exactly what type of cancer it is.
What is the kind of the protocol? You go in for your screening mammography. Something is suspicious. Can you take us from that point on, sort of what happens at that point?
That's a great question, and I get that all the time. So if you get a call back from your screening mammogram, it's not an ominous call, and most of the time it is not going to be anything bad. It's just want to look at something a little closer. Okay. All right. So if you get called back...
That's your story, you're sticking to it.
I'm sticking to it.
Good.
And that's my story, and that's the data.
Okay, all right.
That's the data. Okay, so it's not ominous. So we would do some additional views, more specialized, tailored views to what we saw on the mammogram, and sometimes it may require an ultrasound. Using those 2 types of technologies, we can come up with a plan. Either it's going to be benign, and we'll see you in a year, or we'll see you in 6 months. Akin to if you went to see your doctor and you had a shoulder pain, here, take some aspirin, come see me in a couple months.
Exactly.
Same kind of deal.
Take a little aspirin.
Take a little aspirin. And, or it may require biopsy. Knowing that most of the things that we biopsy are not cancerous as well.
Stereotactic kind of biopsy, or what?
And we generally use the modality or the type of biopsy. It's the best way that we can see the finding. So we see it better on mammography. We're going to use the mammogram machine. If we see it better with ultrasound, we use the ultrasound. If we see it better with MRI, we use the MRI machine.
Can I I know
Yes,
we're
I
out of
know, I
time.
know.
Just a quick question. If you go to your OBGYN and they give you a slip to go get your mammography done, to get your mammogram done, but it's not like I really wanted to go to Hilton Head Hospital just because of the breast center and all of that, can you just tell them
Yes.
I'd rather go to this place, or do you just take that form to Hilton Head Hospital and then they would honor whatever the request is from your OBGYN?
Correct. You don't have to have an order from a physician for a screening mammogram.
Correct.
You don't? Okay.
You don't.
It's pretty interesting. And you are amazing. They're very fortunate to have you. And again,
I am very fortunate to be here.
we do a show called Healthy Living, if I'm allowed to say that. We have to
Sure.
get him on to talk about it since this
Yeah.
is such a great
No,
one.
there's no question.
Stay with us. We'll be right back here on Girl Talk.